But it's not just about choosing your business partners. You are all about teams and building great teams. It's about relationships as well. So it's about every team member. It's about the relationships that you go into. It works everywhere. It's a bit like a saying that I heard that I got from a Queenslander on the Sunshine Coast, a genius in property. And he told me, he said, how do you sell something? He said, you make it easy to buy. And that, keeping that in mind in every negotiation, every interaction with humans on the planet, and it works for animals as well, if you keep that saying in mind in every interaction you have, you will be far more successful.
Welcome to the Find Your Influence podcast with Anton, where we unpack all things influence and we help leaders particularly find their influence by talking to amazing humans and finding out what influence means to them, who they've been influenced by and who they have influenced. And this podcast episode, proudly sponsored by the Guinea Group of companies. The Guinea Group helps leaders upgrade, upskill, uplift their teams and their influence. Everyone listening, our viewers and listeners, welcome to the Find Your Influence podcast with Anton, where we unpack all things influence because it's such a big topic, who you are influenced by and how you can influence others and what really influence means. And today, our amazing guest is a human called Craig Keegan. Craig is a Melbourne-based M&A and roll-up operator. For anyone that doesn't know, M&A means mergers and acquisitions. He's an advisor and a community builder who helps founders design growth and exit pathways with a current focus on dental practice consolidation. He's the founder of M&A Profits, Lessons from the Trenches, a deal-focused podcast and education platform where he interviews M&A professionals and founders to unpack real transaction lessons, integration realities, and value creation levers. In 2024, Craig founded the Dental Exit Cooperative, positioning it as a practitioner-first platform designed to help independent dental practices become investable through standardized systems, shared services, and disciplined integration models. Craig Keegan, welcome. What did I forget, Craig?
Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. There's so much more there. You've got failed businesses. You've got, I sold my first AI business in 1994. I built and sold off a recycling company to Visi. There's so much more there. But let's just stick with the present, hey?
Right. So thinking about that back as your backstory, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned in business or around M&As? Maybe some of the old business sales that you did.
The biggest lesson I learned and had to relearn, because I didn't figure it out the first time, by the way, slow learner. And that is, you have to be the person in control. It has to be your product, your service. You can't be reliant upon someone else's intellectual property, someone else's strategy. It's got to be yours. Otherwise it can all disappear and you have no control. Whereas if it's yours, it can still disappear, but it's your own fault. Take some responsibility.
Okay. Take ownership.
Take ownership. Absolutely.
All right.
Sorry, do we have a volume control on this podcast?
No, we don't. You just keep going, Craig Keegan. Welcome to an energetic podcast, everyone, if you've just joined in. Craig just shared that his biggest lesson in life is to take ownership.
Can I go into a bit more and tell you how I came to that revelation?
Please.
Well, I bought into an internet business. An American came over and sold me an internet business, and it was buying and selling domains, researching domains and selling domains using his platform. Well, it failed. He failed, and it all just shut down overnight. So another time I was doing a property thing and got involved with this arrangement of property education. Well, the person that was running the show there, long before I knew much about business and entrepreneur, I should have done better background checks because he was a crook. So anyway, took the money, did virtually nothing, and then shut down, and I paid my money. Good
Was
lessons.
he a Melbourne-based? Was he a Melbourne-based person?
No, Gold Coast, in actual fact, in Queensland, in Australia.
Right.
So
There you
that was my lesson. So ever since then, it's always been develop my own system, my own process, my own technology, and then bring others on board. But have it as yours so that you're in control.
I like it. Nothing worse than being burnt by a business person who's unethical or dishonest or of low integrity.
No.
Like it's.
And that's where my 4 rules come in, Anton.
What are the 4 rules, Craig? Craig Keegan, I'm about to write these down.
Every time I deal with someone, I always go through my 4 rules. Rule number 1, tell me what you can do. Rule number 2, tell me what you can't do. And that's all good because there's always someone out there in the world that can. I just need to know. Rule number 3, never lie to me or my customer. Rule number 4, never ignore me or my customer. See rule number 3.
Right.
And I find those pretty good rules to start a relationship with. But I did have one person once when I went through my rules and he said to me, "Are you threatening me?" I said, "Well, actually, no. But if that's the way you've taken it, then this probably isn't going to work for us. Thank you very much."
I like it. There's been a great book written in 2025 called Business is War, and chapter 3 is about partnerships and getting them right.
That was by J.T. Fox, wasn't it, that book?
It sure was.
Really
the
good
one
book. Everybody
Amazing.
should read that one. Absolutely.
Love it. And that chapter is around really choosing your business partners carefully. And I think you've just given us 4 rules on how to do that. So I love that. Thank you.
But it's not just about choosing your business partners. You are all about teams and building great teams. It's about relationships as well. So it's about every team member. It's about the relationships that you go into. It works everywhere. It's a bit like a saying that I heard that I got from a Queenslander on the Sunshine Coast, a property, a genius in property. And he told me, he said, "How do you sell something?" He said, "You make it easy to buy." And that, keeping that in mind in every negotiation, every interaction with humans on the planet, and it works for animals as well, if you keep that saying in mind in every interaction you have, you will be far more successful.
I love that in every interaction. I've got a big business meeting coming up next week that will be significant for our little business, and so I'm going to keep that very much front of mind. Craig Keegan, thank you so much for the advice. Let me ask you this then: in the interests of finding your influence and influencing others and influencing yourself, keeping those things in mind when you're going into business deals, what would you define? How would you define the term influence, please, Craig?
It goes back to the podcast, I think. My coach told me that I had to go and get a podcast, that I had to brand myself, get out there, get a podcast happening, and increase my influence. Well, I can't say that I totally understood what he meant at the time, but your coach says to do something, why have a dog and bark yourself? You go out there and you do it. So I went out and I did 80 podcasts in under 12 months. And what I found is that with my dental roll-up, which is called, if you don't mind me saying, the Dental Exit Cooperative, I laid out a structure and a business model there. And I'm happy to tell anybody how it's put together because I know that they can't do it by themselves. So what happened was that I did these podcasts and put this out in the world. Then people from Auckland, people from London, people from Houston, Dallas, all came to me and said, hey, can I use your model? Can we do a dental roll-up over here as well? And even this morning, I was on a call in Salt Lake in the US, and this business exit professional said, oh, I know a tax agent, and we want to do a roll-up. Can you... So that is influence to me. Now, I did 80 podcasts in 12 months. I did 200 LinkedIn articles in 12 months. That created the material for people to come towards me. But most of all, this same coach of mine, he told me, he said that your reputation is what people say when you're not in the room.
Oh.
What do they say about you when you're not in the room? Well, I'm not even in the country. So, what are they saying about me? Hey?
Wow, I love that.
I'm not even on the same continent.
And you're still touching them. You're still influencing them.
I think that is influence. And it isn't that I've gone out to these people. It isn't. It's not a matter of me selling. I haven't sold anything. But as an example, when I do meet someone like yourself, I make sure that, well, with every interaction, I say to people, give me 30 minutes and I will either make you 5 figures or I will save you 5 figures. And I will do that with every single meeting. This meeting that I had this morning in Salt Lake, done. Tick. Easy. He and I, we're going to make tens of millions together, this guy and I. Tens of millions, he and I. But with you as an example, after this session, I'm going to give you a present. And I guarantee that I will succeed in that 5 figures making or saving. It's a no-brainer because what I do is I research the person before I come to a meeting. I know all about the person. I know where their social media, their digital media, their website. Just a simple thing, this previous guy as an example, his call to action in the bottom of his about on his LinkedIn, book a meeting with me. It failed. So what is the value of a client to him? How many people have clicked on that link, it has failed, and they've said, no, this guy's a dud. He can't even keep his links working. Why would I do business with him? Credibility shot to hell. So how many people have clicked on that link and he has lost business with? What is the value of a client to him?
I like it. Did you find any of my links not working?
Well, that'll be for off the record, won't it?
Good. Oh, mate, love it.
Good response. So we're not ending this interview right now, then?
No,
okay.
no, not at all.
But add value to people. Always add value. And
add value
will it come back to you from that same person? No. But who are they going to say, look, this great guy, and here's where you come in, by the way, because twice in the last week, I have met up with people and they have said to me, hey, do you know Anton? You should get on his podcast. Twice in the last week.
Isn't that great?
So what are people saying about you behind your back?
Must be okay. It must be okay. I
so
hope
you
it
must
is,
be adding value to people. Otherwise, they would be talking about you.
our mission on the planet, Craig, is to leave people better than we found them. So if people are saying nice things about us, it means we're probably achieving that in some way, shape, or form. So thank you. Thank you so much for the lovely feedback. It is not unnoticed and it is very much appreciated. So thank you.
You are most welcome.
And I was told by someone that they thought they were the best podcast episode, and that one of those people said that they thought that you might be able to pip them at the post. And I said, well, I'm interested. I can't wait to see how that goes, and I'll give that person some feedback.
Well, I thought I'd start by the dressing. I'm at least in the running so far.
Oh, 100%. Now, I've got to ask you this, though, for all our listeners out there, you won't be able to see this, but I don't know how this happened, but the universe works in funny ways. Craig's got a vest on today, and I've got a tie on that look like they came from exactly the same manufacturer, and they're pastel, or it's a very, they've got these really cool, what are they called, Craig? Just a pattern on them. And
I would say verging on 70s pattern.
Yeah, probably 70s. But I've got to tell you, they're identical. They are dead set. Craig and we could go together to a party, and we have got identical clothes on. So that's there you go. The universe, we're aligned, Craig, already before we spoke. So that's pretty cool.
That is absolutely.
So, but on the topic of influencing through podcasts, which is what I want to do, and I want to unpack this topic because it's such a big one. So now that we know that, it's a touch of people and have them say good things about you when you're not around. I love that. Who's influenced you, Craig? Who do you look back on, and who are you grateful for?
I judge every dealing that I do by, can I look my son in the eye? Can I look at my son and tell him what I'm doing and how I'm doing this? And would he be proud of me for doing that?
Okay,
so
I like that.
To me, that's a big influence, and the pressure of having to be able to do that, being accountable. And can we come back to the word accountable later on, please? Because I want to talk about that. But that's one person that has influenced me greatly.
How old's your son?
He is now 28, should be 29 at the end of the year if he's good to his father.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Very nice.
So, yes, he's influenced me greatly. You mentioned before a book by J.T. Fox. Now, J.T. Fox, I used to be a seminar junkie myself. I'd go along and I would just gather everything. I'd go to 3-4 seminars a week even. And I would just gather information, absorb it all. And then I came across this guy called J.T. Fox 8.5 years ago now. And I have been to one seminar other than his in that time frame, because he influenced me. He was able to demonstrate to me qualities of knowledge and care that I hadn't seen in any other mentor. And this is a reflection on me, by the way, this next statement. It's not a reflection on anybody else, just me. Teachers did not have any influence over me at all. I was the worst student ever. Worst student. I got kicked out of multiple schools.
Did you really?
Absolutely.
Where, Craig? Brizzy or?
2 in Victoria, in actual fact.
Wow.
And I nearly got kicked out of university as well. So I was a terrible student. I really was, because I didn't have respect for people. I didn't have respect for the educators. And that was who I was at that point in my life. I came from a very violent family. I ran away when I was 15. I lived in a Salvo's refuge. They set me up in an apartment and got me through high school, got me into university. So I didn't have respect for anybody. But yeah, the version of Craig Keegan that you see in front of you is version number 5. I've been through some changes. See, it says so there, and look at that. I've got a big V on my chest there. Number 5, Roman numerals.
Oh, nice. Good analogy.
So I've been through some changes. So who has influenced me and who have I respected? Frankly, Anton, up until JT Fox, and this is certainly not an advertisement for JT Fox, but you asked the question, up until JT Fox, I didn't respect anybody other than myself.
Wow.
As someone to aspire to, as someone to work towards and be. I just didn't. So that would be the answer there.
So tell me, I think our listeners are probably intrigued at this point. What is it about JT? You use the word knowledge and care, but there's got to be something deeper. What is it that JT does or says or demonstrates that you've just bought into so much?
Well, I don't want to turn you visitors off,
No,
actually. But again, this is about me, not about anybody else. JT Fox is the first person I came across that I felt that knew more than me. That was it. That was the stage of life I was at. That was who I was 8.5 years ago. And I met someone, JT Fox in this case, and as it turns out, by the way, I've seen a lot of JT over the last 8.5 years, and I'm not going to tell his story, but he and I have very similar childhood backgrounds and early adult backgrounds, as it turns out. There is a lot in common.
You could relate to JT.
So that's probably why.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. So, Craig, in the last 8.5 years, you've developed into version 5 of Craig Keegan. I love that. And you've got a lot of skills now that you've learned through M&As, mergers and acquisitions, through going to seminars. Who are you most, and maybe it's your son, because parenting is an influential role. It's the most important job on planet Earth. But who are you most proud of on the planet that you've managed to see the light come on for, that you've influenced, that you've grown, developed? You know, who have you influenced?
I've done a lot of basketball training, coaching. I've worked, especially in the last 12 months, where I've been doing a lot of podcasts and I've been meeting a lot of different people. But prior to COVID, I did a lot of mentoring of staff in-house, where you'd go into the office and you would mentor staff. And back in 1994, I did a job, and it was to come in and sort out a government help desk for a government department. And one of their requirements was, the goal was a 95% close rate of problems on every service desk call. So I went in there and I interviewed everybody. I took their resumes and I worked with them. I said, look, what we're going to do is I'll do 3 months of initially, then I'll go away for 3 months, then I'll come back for 3 months. And the reason for the going away for 3 months is I want to see what bad habits they pick up, and then come back for the second lot of 3 months to reassert the process and make sure that we fill in all the gaps that turn up. So I did that, went through the first 3 months, disappeared for 3 months, came back. And I was there 5 weeks rather than the 12 weeks. And I was sitting behind a partition. A call came in on the phone and the person didn't know the answer. So they got someone else over and they worked through it. And then they got someone else over and they worked through it. It was a tough call. And anyway, between the team of them, they solved that call on the first phone call. And I walked into the person that hired me that afternoon, and I said, I'm leaving today. I won't be back tomorrow. He said, but you've still got another 7 weeks to go. I said, you don't need me any longer. I said, my job is done. You now have a team that works as a team and is very good. You don't need me any longer. And it was so nice as a contractor to walk out of a job early because you know the job was done.
Wow.
So I think
That's
that was pretty impressive, and I like that.
lovely. Great story. Great story. Not only did you influence one person, Craig, you've influenced the team.
No,
You've changed culture.
I
No.
influenced all their customers as well, all their
Oh,
clients, because one phone call and they get their problem solved. When I was working in IT, I did a rollout of 33, this was the same year in actual fact, I did a rollout of 33 sites around the country of government desktop computing and back-end servers and that. I was in IT at that stage. And I got this phone call one day. This lady says, I've got this problem and it didn't make sense to me. And we're chatting our way through it. And I said, okay. I said, what I want you to do, I want you to grab a pen and paper. I said, I want you to walk out the front door of your business. I want you to turn around 180 degrees. I said, I want you to write down everything that is written on that door, please. And come back and tell me. She said, okay. She came back and she read it out. I said, you don't work for this government department, do you? She said, no. But she said, I've got a friend who does. And she said, you're the best help desk.
right. Okay.
So
your
I
reputation,
obviously influenced someone there as well.
they just knew you as the help desk fixer-upperer.
That was nice. If
Good
even
on
people
you.
that don't work for the organisation are ringing up for help.
I love it. Congrats. Congrats. I like that. That's amazing. So Craig Keegan, in saying that, and you probably led some teams as well, I'm guessing. You've been a leader at different times and you're leading your
M&A's
business.
all over the place. So yes, 25 years of mergers and acquisitions. I've led teams in every department of a business right the way through.
Right. So as you know, our work is with leaders and their teams. Now, tell me, what, from your perspective, Craig, is or maybe, have you got a leadership mantra? Maybe that's probably a good question. What's your theory around leadership and how do you do it?
Well, which version of Craig are you talking about? Version 5, version 4, version 3? It does change. And
Right.
from as you go through life, you learn more things. So your mantras change. But what I would say these days is that with teams, it's literally about working together, not for the end result and the client. It's not about ego at all.
Right.
And I ended up in hospital last year. I was doing an M&A and I was up in Queensland in Australia. It was 36 degrees and 95% humidity or something. And I was out in the sun unpacking and packing pallets of stuff. Now, I'm going to be 60 this year. I was too old to be doing that in that weather, but it needed to be done. I had subordinates that were doing other stuff that I felt was more important than me doing labour work. So I got out and I did the labour work as well. Put your ego aside. Just work together and get the job done. The best person doing the most important role.
Get the job done. I like that. Get the job done. So what do you think, Craig? Here's a question that I've taken to the streets of Brisbane with a microphone and a video. Here's a question for you. What is the most important character trait of a good leader?
honesty and no, sorry, that's two, isn't it? But I'll take the honesty back and I'll replace it with something that might cover both. Be upfront with what you can and can't do.
Okay.
Leaders are not perfect. Leaders are not right all the time. But they are leaders for a reason. And if people appreciate what that reason is, then you will be a good leader. Now, as I mentioned earlier, my business is Dental Exit Cooperative. And how I do that is I don't own the dental practices in the roll-up. What I do is I lead all the founders and I show them what they need to do within their business to exit as a group. So I am leading all of these dental practices and all of these founders and leading them. Now, it is their choice to follow. But I warn you, if they don't follow, I'm not going to invite them to exit. So, yes, there is a bit of a penalty there. There's a carrot and a stick there, sort of. But that is leadership, is to be able to set the example, set the guidance, set the vision, and then to get in there and execute it. And that would be, if you would have asked me my magic superpower, it would be my ability to execute.
Right, ability to execute. So you're a can-do human, we say.
87% of mergers and acquisitions fail as a result of the inability of the person, after the signature has been put on paper, to go and execute the plan.
Wow. 80% fail.
And I'm the person that they call when all hell breaks loose.
To get it back on track.
I did a $1 billion one here in Australia, and I was called up 6 weeks, and they described it as, went through the process, and I described it as, so what you're telling me is you've got a steam train going down a hill with no brakes and a brick wall at the end. They said yes. And there was a $2 million a month penalty if they didn't succeed on this. So I went on. I said, fine, I'll take it. Let's do it. So that was one of I've done a couple of $1 billion jobs.
Did you get sorted?
Sorry?
Did you get sorted? Did you fix the train?
I did. That is the only one where it came down to literally the last minute before the go, no-go meeting.
Wow.
Before I could get all my ducks in a line to say, we go. Very first project in my career that it came down that close.
A last minute $1 billion deal. That's a big deal, Craig. That is a big.
Well, the deal was
thing.
done. I just had to make it happen. The C-suite sign off on stuff all the time, but somebody has to actually go and make it happen. And that's what I do.
Wow. Make it happen. I love it, Craig. I love it. Mate, that's been great.
That was 14 factories, 2 distribution centers. It was monster, an absolute monster.
Wow. Now, I'm going to cast your mind back now to earlier in our conversation, Craig, where you said, can we come back to the word accountability?
Yes.
And I said, of course we can. Why did you want to do that, Craig Keegan?
Accountability is the key. Leadership, and that's where our focus is here, is about having someone to be accountable to as well. I said that I've done 80 podcasts, I've done 200 LinkedIn articles. Whoopee-doo. Who cares? Do you want a badge or a chest to pin it on? It doesn't matter. If Nobody is reading them. Nobody is watching them. And worse still, it doesn't matter if nobody's actually implementing them. That's the problem. You have all these people that read all this stuff and watch all this stuff, and they don't implement it. Why don't they implement it? They don't implement it because they think, oh, I can do that. Well, I can do that by myself. Well, you can't do it by yourself. You need a team. You need a leader. You need someone to work with, someone to be accountable to, someone to be accountable for as well. If you're the leader, people need to be accountable to you so that you can help them out. If they don't have that guidance, they don't have that accountability, they're lost. They're unproductive. They're going to be sad and frustrated because they're not achieving. Accountability is the key. And that is why I got so frustrated in October last year. And I said, I've had it. I'm setting up a mastermind group, and I'm going to choose the best people that I can work with that will be accountable, and we can have some accountability within this mastermind group to get stuff done and stop wasting time watching videos and reading articles or not doing either and not learning. Having a mastermind group where people come along and can be accountable, and you can see how they get stuff done and get achievements done. So to give you a bit of an example, I've got a LinkedIn message here yesterday of two people that I introduced. One I met in LA in November, and the other one was the person that came up with the quote of how do you sell something? You make it easy to buy. I introduced the two of them, and I will read out the email. I'll read out the message. Name, I have some private individuals looking for a place to park money. Would this be of interest? Now, this person that I'm talking about that sent that message, he's a 9-figure person. And here he is. I've done an intro here, and now they're going to do figures. I did another intro to a couple of 9-figure people that I know in the US, and I got a message off one of them saying, oh, we've just done a 7-figure deal today together. That is influence. That is accountability.
I love it. Love it, Craig.
That's why I wanted to come back to accountability. It is so crucial. If you're not accountable, you are not getting stuff done. And you can't be accountable to yourself. You can't coach yourself. If you coach yourself, you're a fool.
Right.
Sorry, if this was too politically incorrect, just edit it out.
Go your hardest. I love it. I love it. It's so cool. You need a good coach sitting in your corner, Craig. That's for sure.
You do.
Hold you
You
accountable.
can't do it yourself. You need a great team. Roll up exits. This guy that I was talking to this morning, we're going to be doing a 9-figure exit in dentals over in the US together. And we're going through. He's never done a roll up before. He's got all the clients in the world. He's got the processes in the world. Never done a roll up. I said, fine, I'll do the roll up. But I said, I won't do the exit. Have you done an exit? He said, no. I said, excellent. I've got just the guy. Because you need the right skill set for the right task.
Nice.
Now, if I give away $5 million to someone to come in the last 6 months and do the exit for me, who cares? Because I would have lost 15 million had I not.
Right person for the right job, Craig.
And that's
I like it.
about the team as well. Do you want to know how to create a great team these days?
Yes.
Oh, AI is so good.
What is
AI? AI. You know a bit about AI, don't you? But anyone,
I'm part of
mobile telephone. What you need to be doing is you need to be going and interviewing all your staff. Now,
Right.
there are Myers-Briggs, there's all these different techniques you can use. Pick one. Just pick one. I don't care.
Disc.
Put all your staff on it.
Done.
Record it all. Record everything. The reason why you record it is language is everything. Then get it all analysed, and there's some AI tools out there that'll do all that for you. It's fantastic. Then what you need to do is, Mr. AI, what,
Or Mrs.
Mrs. AI, what skills am I missing? What personality traits should this person have to fit into my team?
Right.
Then
Nice.
you've got the skills. You've got a little bit of a breakdown of the personality type. Don't give everything away in the job advertisement, but then go
That's
out
it.
and find people to come in and interview. Record them the same as you did last time. Then
Love it.
plug that transcript in, run it through the AI again. Does this person fit the profile? Does this person fit our team model where we want to be?
Off tap, Craig. Love it. And that's the sort of work we do for teams and organizations. We do disc profiling before they hire anyone so that we can help them hire the right person. And we get that right in our business because we have that level of rigor. So Craig Keegan, you are amazing. I'm going to do a quick wrap up. Team, that is an amazing podcast chat. I hope you got heaps of value from listening to Craig Keegan. And Craig mentioned some really, really cool things about the word influence. And Craig sort of leaned on Craig's podcast experience that, you know, when you do podcasts, you get the chance to talk to connect with a whole range of people, both face to face, then all the listeners and viewers. And it's a powerful tool of influence. But at the end of the day, really influence is about what people say about you when you're not in the room. That was powerful what Craig said. And I really lent into that. And then I think for me, the word that I'm going to take away from today is accountability. You know, be accountable. And it's really hard to be accountable to yourself. So, you know, as a coach, as a leadership coach, I hold a lot of people accountable. So I know how important that is. You know, I've done a coaching session today in amongst 8 podcast episode recordings. And you know, that accountability piece and actions and follow up and really asking people, how did you go since we spoke last? Is paramount to their success, and it's paramount to your success. Really hard to coach yourself. If you try to do that, find good accountability tools to do it with, or find a coach to do it with. Thank you for listening or viewing our Find Your Influence podcast with Anton Guinea. Another great chat. Please be one of the 10% of people who follow and subscribe and like our videos, so that you can get more of them and you can hear more of our amazing conversations, the conversations that I get to have and that I get to share.